What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Grind Force Gaming. Nova here with another Street Fighter Duel video, and today we are covering the new event, well, at least a certain part of it now. We have a new fighter that just got dropped. Oni is here as of today, so we're just going to do a quick little overview here. I'm not going to dive too much into what he's got going on. I've got the skills up for you here that you can take a look at what he's doing, but I am going to do like a more comprehensive video about him and then do some testing as well. I just haven't had the time to do that yet, so his skills look pretty good. He's doing some pretty solid damage. His passive is really amazing. And I'm thinking, I'm not sure yet, so I don't want to get ahead of myself here until I do more testing, but I'm thinking that this might be a good fighter to pull for. I've been saving my tickets for quite a while. I've got like 602, I think, or something like that. So I'm in a pretty good position here to hopefully, if the RNG falls in my favor, get a new fighter to SSS, maybe even today or tomorrow. So we'll see. Like I said, I got to do some more testing before I make any of those decisions, but I have everything that I would need in place basically to just get him like set up to be used right away. And he seems to be performing pretty well in the boss battles because some of the whales in my server and in my battle zone have been putting up some pretty solid numbers with him. So I am definitely interested in seeing what I can do with him if I am able to get him to SSS and I get him to a usable level where I can get his vehicles on him and everything, because his 6 out of 6 vehicles lessening defense by 35% of the enemy is just absolutely wild. So anyway, like I said, we'll dive more into like skills and do some functionality testing and stuff like that later. But for today, for this video specifically, I just wanted to do the trials for you guys because I know that sometimes they are a little bit difficult. I feel like on this specific trial, they all have kind of like their own little niche issue that you have to like deal with, or you have to try to like figure out like a workaround for. I feel like in this trial, your biggest deficit against these teams is dealing with their speed. Some of the teams that they have out there have pretty high speed. So if you are having a hard time beating them, then you might want to just kind of take a look at the fighters that you're using and just try to get a higher level of speed by using different fighters, which means you might have kind of a weird team composition. One of the teams I used at one point, and I'll point it out to you, is just kind of a weird team. You'd never really use it in any other situation in the game, but it works for the trial. This fight specifically, I think is one of the more difficult ones. This team composition works, but you're going to need to do it in manual, and you'll need to time it correctly. So you see I pop it into manual here. I'm waiting for their speed bar to go up, and then I put it into auto here. And the reason for that is because you really need to make sure that BZ lands the interrupts, because with Blanca on their team, you run the risk of having passive interrupts happen because of his 6 out of 6 vehicles and his passive. And you want to make sure that he's not counterattacking you and interrupting you, because that'll just throw the entire fight into the other team's favor. So throw it into manual, switch it to auto right before the skill cycle starts, and then hopefully BZ will spin, and then you'll get the interrupts on them. This one was not difficult, but you do have a Blanca in there as well, so you need to be careful of the counterattack interrupts. It's something that I think a lot of people aren't really like fully aware of, because I know a lot of you out there don't have 6 out of 6 vehicles for a lot of fighters, especially like kind of a niche role fighter like Blanca. So if you're unfamiliar with his kit, when you do play against him in these trials, he can passively interrupt, and it can just totally throw the fight into the enemy team's favor, even though you are stronger than them. So just keep that in mind. This was a really interesting fight. I think there's probably a better team composition that can be used for this. I played it once, this team beat it, so I just moved on. There's no reason to go back in and try them over again. But if you struggle using this team and it doesn't work for you, just kind of try and play around with some of the other fighters that you have available to you, or check somebody else's tutorial on how to do it, because I only did it once. These trials are kind of, I don't want to say boring, but they're just kind of annoying in my opinion. I wish you had more flexibility with like the fighters that you used. I wish that you could put the new fighter in the tag position. I wish that you could actually test things a little bit differently, because some of these team compositions, like this is the one I was telling you about, like this is a team you'd never use, like Oni, Zangief, and then Yin and Yang. Like you would never use that normally, but you just need to have the speed so that you can be faster than the other team, and then you can beat them. So these things are the same thing every time. You know, it's the same concept every time we have these trials come around. You're just, the monotony of it is just kind of a burden after a while. But I will say, on this one, I was quite happy that you get the special summon tickets at the end of it, because that makes it worth it. Because sometimes you don't. You get like 5 tokens for standard summons or something like that. At least, you know, when you get the divination tickets or you get the special summon, like it's kind of like validated the time that you're going to spend on it, because it's not always easy. Sometimes they give you really terrible fighters to use in certain matchups, but this one overall wasn't too bad. I'd be really interested in hearing what you guys think about Oni too. I mean, like I said, I'll do a full overview on him, but have any of you been pulling for him? Have you had good luck getting any of his summons to come up and actually get copies of him? We have someone in our Discord that was actually talking about doing summons for him today, and he did 80 pulls and didn't get a single one on 80 pulls. So that's just kind of interesting. And it makes me a little nervous about using all these tickets, especially after saving them up for so long, because I'm just kind of thinking to myself, like, man, I save them up so I have a lot, so I can max like a really good fighter right away and have something usable like during the event, because at events like this with like the boss fights and stuff, there are amazing rewards. So I'd love to see him get to SSS because it'd be very beneficial, but I'm pretty nervous that I will use these tickets and not get him to, you know, what would be, in my opinion, kind of a usable level, and I won't be able to see like a lot of the value in it. But I'm interested to hear if you guys have been doing pulls and what you think about it, if it's been good for you, and if it hasn't been good for you, you know, let me know as well, because it might make me, I don't know, decide to save up more or something. I really don't know what to do. But anyway, that's the trial there. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to do an overview of the entire event here pretty soon, and I'll do an overview of Oni as well. Please take a moment to hit the subscribe button, like, and comment. Cheers, guys.